What's up, fight fans? Calix Boxing here. Hit that sub button for nightly boxing videos. Crawford versus Postol. Crawford signed his side of the deal, and he's ready to go. They got a few things to work out on the Postol side, but it all seems like it's going to come together and be announced next month. But Crawford is in, and that was the big thing. And it looks like Crawford versus Postol will happen July 23rd in Vegas on pay-per-view. Now, two things there. Let me first say this: I like the fight. I like the fight a lot. It's a very good matchup. Two undefeated guys, two champions coming together, fighting each other, unification fight. It all makes sense. All makes perfect sense, and it's a big step up for Crawford. Biggest test of his career, obviously the biggest test of Postol's career. So just good all around as far as a matchup. However, two problems. One, it's a pay-per-view. Neither one of these guys is a pay-per-view draw. Crawford isn't a pay-per-view draw yet. So we think. We'll see July 23rd. But to me, this seems like another pay-per-view bust. The only pay-per-view that I could think of that's been successful since Mayweather Pacquiao was Canelo versus Cotto. It's the only one I could think of. So this seems like another pay-per-view they're going to lose money on. I don't think this is the way to introduce Crawford to the pay-per-view scene. To me, they missed an opportunity. They could have introduced Crawford to the pay-per-view scene by putting him in there on the B as the B side against Pacquiao. Maybe they thought that he would lose that fight, though. That's the only thing I can think of. That Top Rank missed that out. They could have cashed Pacquiao out by putting him in there with Crawford, and Crawford could have got the big win and did that. But obviously, if they didn't do that, maybe there was a problem on the Pacquiao side, or maybe they thought that Crawford was going to lose that fight. I don't know. But to me, this isn't the way to introduce him to pay-per-view. I don't see this fight doing over 200,000 buys. Maybe I'm wrong there. Hopefully I'm wrong. And hopefully it all works out here. Hopefully it's a good fight. For Crawford's sake, he would win the fight. And for Crawford's sake, it would do great buys and it would catapult him to something bigger. But that it seems like a big reach right now. The other thing, it's in Vegas. Crawford doesn't seem like the type of guy who would draw in Vegas at this point either. But at some point you have to take him out of Nebraska, and at some point you have to introduce him to the pay-per-view scene if you want him to be that type of fighter. So there's that theory as well. Hey, it's got to happen at some point. Why not just do it now? Let's get this crash course. Let's get it going, and let's just do it now. It seems a bit premature for the pay-per-view thing to me, though. I'm all right with Vegas, but it seems premature as far as the pay-per-view thing. I don't know. I think there was other ways they could have went about doing it. However, the good news is, if you are tuning into this fight, it's a good matchup. From what I've seen, the undercard doesn't look that good, which is a little odd for guys who aren't big draws on the main event. So I don't know if you'll get bang for your buck. However, as far as the whole pay-per-view, but this is a good matchup. Hopefully it ends up being a good two-sided fight and a competitive fight, and people get their money's worth, because it will be a pay-per-view. Hit me up and let me know what y'all think about this. Peace.